Greetings all freedom fighters, good job on avoiding detection on your way to the rendezvous point. Now I can share with you the top secret files that we managed to steal from Dr. Robotnik last week. I believe they're titled, What If the Freedom Fighters Were Canon? That's right everybody, we are back with a brand new What If, and we're going to be taking the characters from Sonic SatAM, as well as some of its world building, and injecting it right into the main game Sonic timeline. I'm only going to make a few amendments for this to work out, because I want the nice fusion of both versions of the character. So here's how it's going to go. Sonic the Hedgehog 1, the video game, took place as you remember it. However, Robotnik is going to be the SatAM incarnation. And when he showed up in Sonic 1, it's because he was still tracking the Chaos Emeralds, but he was doing so with a expeditionary force. He wasn't expecting Sonic to show up, and the game takes place basically the same way. But the difference is when he's defeated, he doesn't go and work on the Death Egg, he instead goes back to his base of operations, Robotropolis, where he's going to think of some countermeasures for Sonic and just move on to one of his many other plans he had at the time. Sonic the Hedgehog is going to continue into the beginning of Sonic 2, but right from that point is where we're going to see some changes. But yes, that means that the Sonic we're using is the game Sonic. He didn't grow up in Knothole and he didn't grow up in Mobotropolis. Okay, this is the game Sonic, and likewise, although he hasn't met him yet, Tails is going to be mostly the game Tails. You'll see what I mean in a minute. But with the stage set, let's watch that blue streak speed by and see what he can do. It's a nice sunny day in Emerald Hill Zone. Sonic is enjoying a leisurely run at 120 miles per hour as he tours the loop-de-loop slopes and waterfalls. One of his favourite occasions on such an outing is discovering any local civilization and what makes them tick. Unfortunately, Sonic doesn't get the best first impression as he runs up onto a grim-looking village covered in soot. Black smoke billowing from strange artificial encampments. All the grass dead and trampled in the immediate area. The people look solemn and isolated, minding their own business, but calling out from the haze is a plea for help. And Sonic darts over to see that a two-tailed fox is holding on to the stump of a tree, being pulled away by large iron suits. Please, let me go! Creative expression and assembly is outlawed by Master Robotnik. You will report for robotization. No, someone help, please! His cries were going unanswered, but then Sonic showed up. He spins straight into one of the robots, crashing it down onto its back. The other one releases the fox to address the new challenger. If you're so grabby, why don't you try catching me? The robot immediately swings both arms around to envelop Sonic, but like a flash of lightning, he's gone. Specifically, behind the robot, where he will spin into its leg, flipping it over as well. At which point, it's one roll away until he soars through both of the incapacitated robots, destroying them. Dusting himself off for a second, he then reaches a hand out to the fox to help him up. You saved me! You beat the SWAT bots! Oh no, now we're really in trouble! Sonic, not expecting his act to cause more issues, is about to ask questions, but then two floating camera-looking things fly over and shine a red light over, sounding an alarm system as more of those iron robots start running out from behind buildings towards them. The SWAT bots are coming! The number of bolts inside won't stop me from kicking their bucket. Sonic engages all of the enemies. They try shooting him with wrist lasers or just grabbing him, but just like the previous two, they stand no chance whatsoever. Sonic makes short work of them, their robotic arms and oil spraying around on the floor. Slowly, the people of this village start peering out of their windows or stopping their labor tasks and watch. Awe and hope beginning to rekindle in the sparkling eyes of these onlookers. As a pile of SWAT bots begin to form on the floor, the people stop working entirely and surround the area. Sonic jumps onto the pile and bows, where an applause is given off by the locals. He then spots another robot heading his way and goes to attack, but before he has a chance, the people call out to stop. Sonic skids to a halt, utterly confused at what's going on now, but one of the voices who called out ushers him over. A hedgehog, an older one with a moustache and weary eyes. Seeing Sonic up close now, his mouth hangs open for a moment. No, it couldn't be. Sonny boy? Sonic scratches his ear. He has no idea who this old geezer is. All the whilst, the locals went back into their homes or picked up their tools to get back to work, as the robot Sonic was told not to attack rounds the corner and reports the destruction back to his master. Sonic asks this hedgehog why are they letting this one stay, and the old man says that he'll let him know, but first he must come with him. Tails at this point has wandered over to Sonic as well and mentions that he's scared. So the old hedgehog tells him he may as well come as well, and they enter his home. It looks old and decrepit as if it's not been attended to, at which point the hedgehog tells Sonic the reason everyone wanted him to leave that robot alone is because it was actually one of their friends. They weren't always a machine, but they were turned into one by the evil Lord Robotnik. Sonic crosses his arms and taps his foot, saying that sounds awfully familiar to someone he met not too long ago. This piques both Tails and the older hedgehog's interests. They question that he's encountered Lord Robotnik before, and Sonic says he wouldn't know about Lord, but he's definitely beat a tub of lard. The old hedgehog and Tails look at each other and then look back at Sonic, hope clearly dawning on their faces. Wow, you're awesome! Yeah, I'm pretty great. Loud scraping comes from a corner as the old hedgehog has pushed a rotted sofa, revealing a trap door, which he opens and tells the others to come in quickly. Inside is a completely different sight from above. Metal walls and floors lit by blue LEDs and a large collection of monitors at the end of the room filled with keyboards and computers. What is this place? Wow! Look at all the tech! This your private getaway or something? Something like that. The old hedgehog explains that this is his base of operations. This is where he works to try and undermine Lord Robotnik's hold on the village in Emerald Hill Zone, but he's had middling success so far. And he turns on some of the screens, revealing his hidden cameras, relaying a feed of the town back to them from down here. The old hedgehog focuses on the section of the village that Sonic recently destroyed a bunch of robots in, and it's seen that the reinforcements have already arrived and they're patrolling looking for the hedgehog. No one has ratted out Sonic so far. The hedgehog starts tapping his feet impatiently once again and says that if they just let him know where Robotnik is, he'll beat him up again. But the old man looks at Sonic seriously and tells him that he doesn't know whatever his encounter with the madman was before, but something he needs to understand is that he's going to be a whole lot more powerful. This is his main forte. He has made an entire empire of conquered, enslaved, robotic darkness. Sonic fought him outside of his own territory, presumably with a far smaller workforce and the element of surprise, but he'll have none of those things here. It would be irresponsible to fight. But Sonic adamantly responds that all of this sneaking around and looking at monitors isn't the way he does things. It's not his style. He would rather get out there and take action. This prompts a chuckle from the other hedgehog, who comments, "Guess the apple really doesn't fall too far from the tree." Sonic doesn't know what he means by this, but instead of answering, the senior hedgehog instead gets a crate and opens it, revealing a rag. But when he pulls the rag off, there is a large, glowing golden ring. Whoa! What is that? That, my boy, is what I like to call the power ring. One of my one of my best creations. The first one I've been able to make in the aftermath of Robotnik's conquest. This is a powerful tool, able to enhance your abilities beyond what was ever possible before. But it's only got so much juice. You need to be careful with it. You're giving it to me? Well, I'm certainly not going to be going around smashing up this. And he presses a button on the keyboard, switching one of the monitors to show a dark chemical factory. Now this is where you want to go if you want to really cause some damage. One of his chemical factories. He uses it to fuel his machines and tamper with the ecosystem. It's too much for ordinary folk to take down, especially on their own. But I've seen you in action, and I feel like you have just what it takes. And if you use this ring, you'll be able to destroy it at its most critical juncture and get out. But remember, the charge is limited. Use it wisely. Sonic grabs the ring. Thanks, old man. But what's stopping me from using this hula hoop to take out the genius all on my own? The old hedgehog sighs and reiterates what he said before about going alone not being smart. But this time he switches the cameras to show some roboticized animal folk, and he tells Sonic that these were the last people who thought themselves as upstart freedom fighters. That's the fate they met. Tails is visibly scared by this image, so he quickly switches the feed to another screen. But then he tells Sonic that he must find more help if he's going to take out Robotnik. So right now the best thing he can do is instead hit his supply chain to slow down his efforts in Emerald Hill Zone specifically. He's been trying to find other people to form a sort of resistance with, but communications are monitored, so he's had a hard time of it. Sonic relents, saying alright, he gets the message, he'll use this ring and take out that power plant, and he'll be back in a Sonic second. Before he goes though, he holds out a hand and asks who this old man is. The name's Chuck, sonny boy. Pleasure to meet you after all this time. And they shake hands. Sonic then turns around to leave, giving Tails a wink on his way out. Blink and you'll miss me, kid. And then he climbs out, with his new destination set. Chemical plant. Meanwhile, in the chemical plant zone, rising out from the oily substance, is a strange makeshift submarine of crude iron and bolted together with hardly reliable tools, within which is a group on a mission. I must be getting the outs! This is the cramped in here! I must be spreading the freedom in the outside! I'm trying, Antoine, calm down! We'll be there any minute now. Remember, Sally, you will have 10 minutes after the detonation is set to escape. Oh, I hate always being in a rush. Alright guys, remember the plan. Let's do it to it. I wonder who on earth those people were at Chemical Plant. I'm afraid we'll have to wait until next time though, because that brings the end to this part 1 of What If the Freedom Fighters Were Canon. What do you think, everybody? This is a different take, I would imagine, to what you had expected for such a thing, but I hope you found it enjoyable. I want to respect both the games and SatAM's worlds in this series, but it will only become a series if you guys want it to be. For all I know, this is giving game fans and SatAM fans no enjoyment. So please, let me know in the comments if you want this series to continue and if you enjoyed this episode. That will determine if I go on to make the next part, because your feedback is really important for this channel. But with that being all said and done, I think it's time to close it out. So thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. I hope you have a great day, and to see you next time. This is the Mighty Emperor signing off.